Okay, I am recording.
Hi, guys. I hope you guys are all doing well during the lockdown. We are in the latter phase of the lockdown, and we're starting to see a lot of the states are opening. Like Georgia, first of all, is open. Congratulations to you guys. Texas is now opening. Orange County beaches opened. Same with Hawaii, the beaches in Hawaii. The problem with that is that we have our governor on the news right now saying that people went so crazy when they opened the beaches at the beaches that they're talking about closing them back up for 3 more weeks, which is odd. I don't know. They say that the heat, the sun, and the humidity kills the virus. So that's a good thing. The people are out in the sun. I don't know if you're out in the sun that you're out spreading viruses, but I do find it kind of odd. I'm seeing a lot of people drive by in their cars and they all have masks on while they're driving around their car, like they're going to give themselves the coronavirus. It's very odd. And the other thing, I laughed. I was actually at the bank and this guy was in line and with a mask on and the entire line, I go, I just want to say, this is the first time you'll ever be allowed to wear a mask in a bank. And they all started laughing. And that's how I knew I did my job. I made the entire line laugh. That's what you have to do. You got to make people laugh because it raises their vibration.
Were they social distancing at the bank?
It's kind of odd because no, they weren't. They're supposed to, but I noticed they were all kind of clumped together because they were trying to push. They're trying to push people through the line faster, so they were, getting closer and closer. And this guy had a family with him, and it was just funny because they all had masks on, and this guy had like a ski mask on, and I was like,
I ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, I'm just laughing, going, this is a first and only
look
time.
like a bank robber.
Yeah, you look like a bank robber. Show me your eyes.
I hope this stuff doesn't whip around in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
People are getting, clumped up and could be carrying it and not know it. And then you get hot spots again.
Yeah. That's what I believe. I believe that people are getting so antsy and fed up. They want the first to be the time that everyone opens up. Everyone's sick and tired of not making money.
Sure.
And the longer they keep us down, the more aid and help we need. But the problem is half these people are not getting help and aid.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Like how did the Lakers just get all the Lakers, the multimillionaires, just got a bunch of checks? It's like, well, hold on a second. There's a lot of non-millionaires out here that definitely need some help and assistance. Why are you guys? So those guys sent it back. Bless you guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. That is very responsible.
I think that that first wave was just kind of messed up, and then people are sort of figuring it out now and going, "Hey, wait a minute! I don't need this money." A lot of people do though.
Yeah,
they're the ones that should get it. Like people who their business is going to be gone, or they even worse, they can't eat, they can't pay for their medicine, that kind of stuff. There are people in that position. They weren't ready for something like this to hit them.
The suicide rate is up five times.
I'll bet.
Last night, because I couldn't sleep. So here's the deal. Somatomics. Ride the wave. I just have to say, ride the new wave of HGH release. So when you take this, it's fruit punch. When you take this, you have a 30-minute window to fall asleep. And if you don't, you get a little loopy, but it also kind of gives you energy and you end up staying up way later than you're supposed to.
Watching Ancient Aliens.
Well, last night I was watching a bunch of speeches from these financial advisors on the metal market and Bitcoin and also the stock market, but more just like not the fiat currency, but more metals like gold. So how valuable gold is, and how everyone's at this time period is waiting till the last second to start buying as much silver and gold as you can. So the prices, even though they have dropped, like the spot prices, you take an American Eagle coin that I was buying for $19 are $25 now from the guy that's on sale.
Is that Kiyosaki talking about that? Robert Kiyosaki? Who was talking about that?
Yeah, Robert Conrad. But so, yeah, Robert Conrad was great. I loved his stuff in the Wild Wild West. That guy was a gymnast and a wrestler. You know that?
You sure you didn't take some with Tomex just now?
They say the best thing for this, for the Somatomics hangover, is you take just a teeny bit more in the morning.
Oh,
and I was doing that, and I was like putting me to sleep. So you know what? That's probably a good idea. I should probably have a little bit. Well, so I just want to say, so after I take this, you sleep like a baby. You wake up sucking your thumb like a little boy. Make sure it's your thumb. And then in the morning, look at that.
Oh, what's that?
It's a nootropic.
Oh, where'd you get that? Is that like an On It product? Something like that?
It is called the Genius brand. You can get it at a lot of these major vitamin stores that have protein and all that. It's called Genius. Genius.
Oh, cool.
Also, Alpha Brain, definitely.
That's On It, right?
Yep, and it's a nootropic. This stuff makes your brain go crazy. And then this is something new that I got, and I'm taking this with this.
You talked to Joe Rogan, Eric. I think you guys take some of the same stuff.
This is a nootropic. Also, it's new. It's a trial product. But what I do with this one, because this one is mushroom, so I take it as a pill, and this one is it's white powder, so I chop it up and I line it up and I snort it.
No.
Through my eye sockets.
No.
Man, it works. You just like inhale, you push really hard and your eye sockets will inhale.
Welcome to the Bad Advice Off the Rails podcast.
Anyways, so look at this. Woo, good stuff. This stuff. And then if you want to try this, I love this. The only thing is don't take this after a big cup of coffee because it will give you diarrhea.
This is my big cup of coffee.
It kind of liquefies your digestive tract. Now, coffee, that's not a bad thing because guess what coffee is? Tell them, Bob.
What's coffee?
It's just caffeine and water.
Oh, yeah. I don't put anything in it. I just drink it black.
A little bit of brown coloring.
Yeah, I just drink it black. I love it. Yeah, I drink it probably a lot. I drink too much.
So you drink it black. Tanya's cup of coffee tastes like an ice cream cone.
Mine tastes like an aspirin.
Really?
It's bitter.
Oh yeah, aspirin tastes horrible. Yeah. I was thinking one of those orange baby aspirins.
No, this tastes like just chewing up an aspirin. You get used to it.
You know, I like a coffee I can chew.
Mm-hmm.
My coffee tastes like tar. So I go outside for a walk in the morning and I look down and that's what my coffee tastes like.
You ever have Death Wish coffee?
Yes. In fact, I had a cup of Death Wish.
It's pretty good.
And a Death Wish holder next to my bed. And I had horrible dreams. And I called my friend. I said, hey, I had some really bad dreams. And she goes, that's really weird because somebody put a Death Wish on you. And I was like, what? and I took a picture, and there's a picture of Death Wish coffee cup and a holder, a Death Wish holder on the side of my bed.
So to everybody, so people know when we're recording this, because people will listen to it anytime. This is the middle of the day. I swear to all of you, neither one of us are drinking.
I do. I'm going to tell you, I do have a little bit of somatomic hangover. And, you know, today, after I go outside and start cleaning the garage and go buy this, I reserved this old German coin before the Nazi time. And it was really cool because it's got some of the German, whatever they are, chancellors or whoever from a long time ago, before Hitler. And it's got some really cool, they used to use the steel, the warbird, you know, the warbird. During the Nazi time, they kind of took the warbird and but there's some really cool old designs of the bird that they used to use.
Didn't he take a lot of that symbolism from like Rome and stuff?
Rome and also Tibet. Okay. The Nazi symbol was a peace symbol that was a circle, a Tibetan peace symbol. And what he did is he just made it into a square and turned it into like a bent cross.
Yeah, and he ruined it forever.
Yeah, and just stained it with all the what do they call it? Genocide?
Yeah, the Holocaust. Yeah, that's
really amazing. It's really amazing that some people are trying to say that the Holocaust never happened.
I can't even get into that. I'm not even talking to someone who says that.
I can't believe that stuff. You know, that's not even a conspiracy. That is 100% true. I sat and had a full-blown conversation with an ex-Auschwitz prisoner, and he had all the serial numbers on his arm, and I sat and talked to him for about an hour and a half, and I walked him out to his car. He started crying. I was crying. He hugged me, and I hugged him back, and then we were hugging each other. And he said, "Thank you for listening to me." He goes, "So there's a lot of people that don't even believe this happened, let alone want to hear my story." And I said, "You know, it's so odd that I immediately there was somebody was talking about a book, and then they introduced this guy as an Auschwitz survivor. The next thing you know, I sat next to him, and he was this old man, and I talked to him the whole time and walked him out to his car. And
that's nice.
Well, it was just really odd that nobody wanted to hear his story.
Did you ever read Man's Search for Meaning? Did you ever read that, Viktor Frankl?
No.
That is a wonderful book.
Really?
Man's Search for Meaning. I've read it a few times. That is worth a read.
Is that a war survivor?
Yeah, he was in, I think it was Auschwitz. He survived it. But the whole thing is about how they literally took everything away from them. Like even their humanity, and they were turning on each other. It's just like levels of despair that you and I'm sure, can't even imagine.
They went and raided all their houses. They took the elders. They took the kids away. Then they stole all of their prized possessions, which was art. They took all their art, all their money, their gold, their silver, any savings they had, and then they put them in Swiss bank accounts.
Well, this guy
in Austria and Switzerland.
The cool thing about this book, like everybody should read this book, because at the end of the day, you get to that point where there's a surrender to it. It's like, look, we're all going to die. And the only thing he had left, literally they took everything, and they were about to take his life. And the only thing he had left was his choice on how he felt about it. That was it. Wow. It's that deep. Like the whole point is, you can't take that from me, how I feel about it. Like it's a really good read. Everybody should read that book. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. I don't want to get all heavy, but man, that's a great book.
Man's Search for Meaning. When did that come out?
Oh, a long time ago. I read it in high school.
Wow.
But, I mean, it's been out for a long time. It's a really famous book. No, because I was a stupid high school kid, and they made us read it, and I really didn't get it. And I was like, oh, okay, they made us read all kinds of stuff like that. But
It obviously left an impression on you.
well, when I read it later, you get a little older, and then you're like, damn, like a lot of stuff's like that. You come back around on it later, you're like, man, I didn't even understand what that meant. Later, you're like, wow, this is heavy, really heavy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody's got some downtime now, everybody's on lockdown. It's not a long book. I mean, you could probably knock that out, in a few days.
What is it? What is it about, really? It talks about all the horrific acts that are going on around him, or?
Yeah. He spent time in a concentration camp. Like he got thrown into one, everything taken away. And he was either a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I think a psychiatrist, but he, he was literally observing, what was going on. I'm probably going to be a little fuzzy on the details. It's been a long time since I read it, but it's such a good book. That one should be in everybody's library. That should be required reading.
What's it called?
Man's Search for Meaning.
Wow.
Victor
Even the
Franklin.
title alone is great. That sounds like something that makes me want to read.
Oh, it's really, really good. And it's not a long book. You can bust it out in a few days, but that is a few evenings very well spent reading that one. And back on the money stuff, you're talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. Another guy that is my guy that is my favorite is Dave Ramsey.
Oh, Dave Ramsey.
He is awesome.
Dave Ramsey's got a lot of books. He does a lot of seminars, webinars. He's all over. But I know Tanya likes to read a lot of his stuff. And I was also, what's the woman, the famous woman?
Is that Susie Ormond? Is that her?
That's right. Yeah. She's on TV. I like listening to her because she doesn't pull her punches, and she gives you all this great detail on how to invest, taxation, where to put your money, what a wise choice is compared to a foolish choice. What's her name? Suzanne?
I think it's Suzanne Ormond. I'm not sure on that, but
Right.
Dave is good because it's for like regular people. It's not for people who are doesn't have to be investment and stuff like that right away. It's about literally daily habits, that you can get you through. Like times like right now, you see in the crunch, and a lot of people live on the margin and they don't have anything squirreled away or
paycheck.
Yeah, and it's I started reading that guy when I was broke. I mean, my business was bad, and I actually heard him on the it's way back in the day. It was like 98, 99, somewhere around there. I used to listen to Howard Stern in the morning when I was making my blades. And then after Howard Stern, Gordon Liddy would come on. It was like this whole network. And then they had this whole lineup of stuff. And I was grinding blades. So I just would listen to all these shows back to back. And Dave came on Gordon Liddy's show. And I was like, who is this dude? And I went and bought his book and then didn't do what he said for another couple of years. Went completely broke, lost my house, almost lost my business, was $100,000 in debt. Literally ended up back in my parents' basement. It was not fun. It was when
you started dancing?
That's right, man. That's when I made all my money back in a month. No, I'm kidding. No.
Were you shaking it?
What's that?
Were you shaking it? You were
That's
just
right.
Bachelorette parties?
I'm the one who invented the twerk.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Les Grossman, right?
Les Grossman.
Look at these hairy forearms. It's good. Not even Tom Cruise makeup.
Hey, when you have hair on your forearms, they look bigger.
That's right.
Don't shave it because they'll shrink up.
There ain't no hair left on my head. Got to have it on my forearms. You're shaving your forearms.
Yeah, mine were like yours.
You had hairy arms. They didn't look like that.
I did. And when I was younger, I didn't realize it. When I got older, because of my high levels of testosterone, I started growing a hair sweater on my back.
Oh man! Yep. Did you like shave it around here, and then you took the shirt off?
I remember because I would sleep without a shirt on, and she's like, "Aren't you cold? You don't even have covers on." And I go, "Yeah, I do. I have a hair sweater on, and I was nice and warm."
And then and then you ate Dove chocolates.
In the front. in the back.
No, you didn't.
But, you know, I'll tell you, you know, yeah, it sucks because you get older and your hair just turns silver.
Mine fell out, but it fell out when I was young. It's still what's left is silver.
Well,
And now I've got lockdown haircut. It's going like this. I look like Foghorn Leghorn.
It looks good to me. So my friend was working with this American Indian, and this guy was in charge and was promoting all these fights in New York. He's an Indian promoter, and my friend was hired by him. And this guy was really serious, and they were in San Diego working on getting fighters to fight on his event. And so my friend comes to my gym, and he brings this. He's actually a chief. He's an Indian chief.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And anyways, he owns this fight. He owned this fight league and some other things too. I don't want to rat myself out and tell you who he was. But anyways, so all of a sudden he was really serious, and I'm like, I wonder what it's going to take to make this guy smile. And next thing you know, we're talking, and my friend, he's 10 years younger, and I go, so Chief, how do you like riding around with old Silver Pube here? And he goes, what? And I go, old Silver Pube. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, he was a lot younger, but when he got older, his nickname became Silver Pube. It becomes the first thing after you see, like Whispering Winds, Willowing Water. When the mother's in labor, she names the child after the first thing she sees. Whispering Winds, Willowing Water. And I looked at him, I go, ain't that right, old Silver Pube? And I had never seen this Indian chief laugh so hard. And he didn't stop. And he said the whole time, that's all he kept thinking about was this guy who had all dark hair, and he had a silver pube.
Only Erik can get away with that.
This guy, even after he went home, he said, thank you for making my trip worthy with your silver pube comment. And I said, well, you know, the mother, after she gives birth, the first thing that she sees, she names these people, they're the kids. She names them after the first thing she's witnessing, like Whispering Winds and Willowing Waters. Isn't that right, two dogs fucking? Yeah.
Oh, we earn our explicit tag.
Ain't that right, two dogs humping?
I'm not cutting that out. That's great.
You know, tomorrow's hump day, so instead of humping, you
Mike.
You grapple. You grapple.
Yeah. I miss that, man. I haven't wrestled in a month. Do a lot of Motion Master, a lot of rolling around on the Motion Master bag.
You will be surprised at how well that will transition to your movement. The biggest factor that I'm finding that everyone's having after popping my cherry and rolling for the first time since a year and a half, since I had this stupid neck surgery. It's not stupid because it saved my life. But I got to actually roll yesterday for 30 straight minutes.
Nice.
And, you know, I came home and I took a bath, and I laid in the bath. I took a hot salt bath because my sacrum, you know, I think it's the rotation of the hip, because after my surgery, my lower back went out. And then I realized my balance went out. And I do a ton of core exercises, but it's still, Tony said, you're a weak part of your body. Your legs are strong, your upper body's strong, and your core is weak. I'm like, my core is definitely not weak. And she goes, well, it's weaker than the rest of your body, which I disagree, because I do twists. I do the power cable twists. You ever do the power cable twists?
Oh, yeah. I got all those drills from you.
So I go side to side, and then I do side ones. I do power cleans, and then I grab that. I have I put it on the video. It's a water kettlebell.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just do twists side to side. But I keep my core tight, so I engage my core. And then I hit the twist. And, that's a huge help to getting back on the mat. It's like I didn't even miss a beat. I was able to get from my back up to my elbow, up to my feet in seconds, which I thought would take 10 minutes as usual.
That's good, man. I'm real happy you got to roll again.
Thank you. His name was Sam. He was small and he was 5 years old, but that's neither here nor there.
He's not telling you that he rolled with Tanya.
Oh, yeah. Well, so
Tanya will be very careful with him.
Yeah, she is. I have nothing across the neck, but I also have, you don't realize how much your head comes into play when you're rolling. You use your head to stop people. You post on your head. You block with your head. We
were all scared to death to let anybody touch you for over a year.
Yeah, but there's nothing like a good head. You just use that head. No, you don't realize how much your forehead and the use of your noggin while you're rolling until you can't have it touched. And then it's like, and then the other thing is having something across your neck. Now up here I'm okay, but down here, this is where they pulled my pipe over and then cleared it out and then put it back. And then
that was major.
And then they took out 5 bone spurs and 4 calluses. And then they removed 2 vertebrae and put a steel cage around it. Yeah. And that's where I have to be careful, because if that thing shifts or slides or if the screws pop out on that steel cage, I'm not talking about the 5 that are herniated in the back. I'm talking about the front. And the problem is then, it's weird. One time I slept on a pillow wrong and I woke up and I was swallowing. I had a really sore throat and I felt really odd. And I grabbed my windpipe and I went like this and I heard it adjust. It went pop, pop, pop.
Yikes. Yeah,
it was out. I adjusted my own neck. Don't tell Tanya. I'll get in trouble.
You will get in trouble. She won't like that at all.
Look, I can move.
I don't think she watches these, so you're okay.
Yeah. So one time when I was 15, I was down at the river. I remember I was down at the river with my brother, and we found an encyclopedia of sex catalog floating down. And I remember
pre-internet.
Huh?
Pre-internet.
Oh yeah, I was probably like 12 or 13, maybe 14. And I remember I was like, wow, that's interesting. Let's hide it. So we hid it. And I remember sneaking down to the river by myself to look at it, because it had a full-on outline of the female genitalia. So I got firsthand knowledge on every name for every part of the vagina. So next thing you know, I'm down there just like studying this thing going, that's amazing. It's like a flower. And I learned all the names of all the parts.
That's right.
That way I knew if I ever came in contact with anything of that sort later on, when I was obviously 16 or older.
You know what you're talking about.
Because I knew I could name stuff.
Yeah, that's really
hold on a second.
That's the move.
Careful with the labia majora, because it's guarding the menorah.
Yeah, that's the move. I'm sure. I can name your stuff.
We have to be careful with the clitoris cleft, because it's a guard. It's a guard for that little man in the canoe.
Leave it to Eric to build a curriculum for naming genitalia.
Well, that's how I knew. I used to be a doctor before. I just really started studying all the female anatomy and just was enamored. I was enamored,
Oh
And
my God.
I took mental notes on all the different parts.
Your gym can't open up soon enough.
It was so good. I couldn't
You have to
believe
get out of the house, man.
Well, the other thing in this catalog, which was waterlogged, that had moss on half the pages, and they're stuck together from the water. So I'm slowly pulling them apart because they were.
Oh no!
No, they were damp. They were damp because we pulled it out of the river.
Ex-nay.
Guess what? It was all based on positions.
All right.
So all of a sudden, you know, when I
really don't want to have to edit this.
When I no longer was a virgin,
No.
I don't know how old I was, but I remember my first girlfriend going, "You're amazing." And I go, "Why do you say that?" She goes, "You know, all these different positions." And she goes,
"You're so knowledgeable."
Yeah, you're so knowledgeable. Where'd you get all this experience? And I didn't want to say that I had a secret book down by the river.
I'm a reader.
I was, and it was all picture illustrations. And I was like, wow. And later on, I was like, this is like gymnastics. This is like wrestling. It was because you know, all these different positions. And I was like, and I'm looking at half of them. These are really odd. They look hard, but I can do it. I could do that.
I can do it.
That's totally me. That position has my name on it.
I can do that. I'm sure I can handle that.
Yeah, so I didn't want to tell anyone my secret. So I just revealed something that
you just told everybody your secret.
I never told anybody, but
now you told everybody.
Well, listen, my dad never taught me about the birds and the bees.
Oh no, parents didn't talk about that stuff back then.
I remember my friend and I were hiding in his garage, and his brother had a Playboy he had hidden in the rafters, and I looked at it, and I was so shocked and surprised. And then I remember my friend my friend said, "Hey, do you know what your mom and dad do?" And I go, "What?" And then I remember he told me, and I go, "He does what with his wink? He takes his wink and puts it where?" I go, "There's no way."
And then you went, "I'd rather not think about that ever."
First of all, my dad would kill my mom if he did that. And second of all, my parents would never do that.
That's right.
That's gross.
That's the most horrible thought ever.
And I remember I was in fourth grade, just like, I remember going to school just like shaking my head going, it can't be true.
No way.
I would never do something like that. And then
there's always that one kid in the class that does
Chris
that.
Johans, he goes, "Well, how do you think you were born?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "How do you think you're conceived?" And I was like, "Your dad takes his and places it here." And I was like, "There's no way." And he moves his hips. He pumps those hips. And I was like, my dad would never do that to my mom. There's no way. There's no way my dad would do that to my mom. I was completely in shock. And then I started reading. I was so fascinated. And so I remember this guy goes, "Hey, here, look at this." And it was all these Amazonian women.
Oh my God.
With big, huge pancake snips. And
what are we talking about?
there were all these people back then, and then they had gorilla sumo bushes out to their hips.
Oh, no.
This thick,
Eric.
this wide.
Eric.
And I remember just going, "Holy!"
We just lost all of our subscribers.
Hold on, how does that girl have that much hair? How does she? I don't have hair. How does she have hair?
Oh my God.
That's how young I was. I was so surprised that this lady had a big old bush.
This is bar talk, not podcast talk.
I couldn't believe it. It was amazing to me. That was I had to hide that. So I take this magazine, and I'm like, I have to look at this more. I have to really study this.
Oh my God.
So I hid it in my closet, and nobody could find it. And then one time I came home from school, and I had a big old waterbed, and I loved to just come home after gymnastics and jump on my bed and just fall asleep with my headset on. And I remember I was ready to go downstairs and fall asleep with my headset on. And all of a sudden my grandma's cleaning my room and all my magazines are laid out on my bed. Like all my nudie and I was like,
you got busted.
What the heck? And she didn't say a word. She didn't have to say anything. And I was like, I got to put these back. That's my hiding place. It's like my grandma knew more than my mom, which was amazing.
They know. They all know anyway.
Came down. I was ready to go to sleep. I had a towel in one hand and I had a bottle of lotion in the other, and I was ready to go to sleep. I went downstairs ready to go to sleep, and then all of a sudden I noticed all my secret hiding places, all my magazines were all laid out on my bed.
No.
Amazonians.
Where's Tanya? I need to have her yelling at you from the other room. Where is she? Where's Tanya?
This is good for people to understand, because a lot of people, they don't understand that stuff.
People know more today than we ever knew back then.
Well, it's good. Like people don't talk about stuff, but where did you learn about the birds and the bees?
Oh, same thing. Same way. There's always that kid in school that tells you stuff. Well, not from my parents. No way.
Yeah. My parents would never do that.
No way. It was like, ew.
I got mad at my dad. I was like, why would you ever? It can't be true. It cannot be true.
Yeah.
My dad would never do anything like that. And then I would look at people differently. I was like, could this really be like?
That's when you know something then.
Yeah. Is this really like happening? This is like finding out that UFOs exist for real. And then
no.
all around you.
Did you see that video? They released video yesterday on that.
I saw that video so long ago. I don't know.
Yeah, they were saying it's old video.
Yeah, it's old. You mean on the Nimitz or the Nimitz or whatever?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they got the three. You can't even tell
what
you're
black and white videos.
Yeah, stupid. Big deal. That's nothing. There are so many other videos. I had talked to a guy 2 days ago that I just met. He's a new friend of mine now, and we talked for about 3 hours. I was outside, and my whole body got all burnt because I was sitting out in the grass talking. And he was saying that he has a friend that studied and saw Bigfoot. And then I said, a friend? He goes, no, actually it was me. I witnessed and saw Bigfoot. And he actually has all these accounts of his friend and him. They're out in the wilderness in California, Northern California, and he actually sat there and watched. He said it was a 5-foot baby, and he saw it come into the clearing. And he said when it ran away, it was like this. It was going, oh, and it was making that noise as it was running. And that was the noise he made. And this guy is 150% credible. He's not a cop, but he is. He runs a prayer group for people who are recovering from Hollywood. The people that are getting out of that whole whatever it is, they're getting caught up into that whole thing, which could be the cabal, the dark stuff. But this guy, anyways, he does a lot of prayer stuff for people who are sick, and he's had a lot of success. And I talked to him, and he sounded like he was. He literally sounded like he was about 40 years old. I said, "How old are you?" And he goes, "I'm 60." And I was like, "I can't believe it." I said, "You sound like you're 15."
We're not that far from that.
Well, yeah, I know. Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Not me. Not me.
The 60's right around the corner for us, too.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
July 24th.
Yeah. You're a Leo.
I had the same birthday as Guru Dan. How cool.
Are you a Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lion.
That's right.
How about the Geminis? Which one? Guess what I am? Take a guess. Everybody take a guess. What do you think I am?
I don't know. I don't know the signs. What is that? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay.
The crab.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that. I only knew my own. I don't follow that.
Yeah.
Janet knows all those. She knows all those signs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't really follow them too much. But, you know, a lot of the priests in the old days were actually astronomers and astrologers. They had to know about the stars, the star mapping, the turning of time, and the placement of the whatever, the buble, cucugle. And they were really positive and knowing of ley lines. The ley lines, the electronic grid of the earth, and then the power points. A lot of the old churches were actually very built on ley lines. So you would walk into a place, which was a church, and you would get energy from the crossing of the ley lines in the place where you're at. So you would leave and go, wow, I feel better. But it was because two things. Obviously, you are praying. Praying is asking. Meditating is receiving, which a lot of people need to sit and be still and open their ears and listen. You know, you can't just always ask. You got to actually listen too. But the ley lines, originally all the places were built on them. Today, a lot of the churches are not built on ley lines. They're just put in places, locations that feel as a good place for a place to build. But so the energy, a lot of times when people go into a church, is they take the energy from the actual minister, pastor, or priest. They pull that energy instead of taking the energy from the land and the vortex that is built underneath.
You still doing your meditation every day?
Every single day. Every day. And it's strange, like this time, there's times like in the middle of the day and then also at night where I have major epiphanies. And I just actually, like last night at like 2:30 in the morning, I was just, my heart opened up. I felt really great. I felt so good. And I don't know what the contributor to something like that would be, but I do know that I felt like I was getting blessed at the witching hours between 2 and 3, they say. That's when the gates open. Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, anytime, like, so Christ died at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock a.m. or p.m. is a great time to pray, or a great time to give thanks, to be grateful. And that's a big one. If you want to keep your vibration high every day, you sit down and say grace. Just say, I want to say thank you for everything. And you know what? I watched the Mr. Rogers movie. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen that yet. Is that good? It looks like it's going to be good.
It is good because
I like Tom Hanks.
He really turned. This guy was a journalist that wrote nothing but bad things about everybody, and Mr. Rogers took him under as a project and said, "I want to know more about you," and brought him in. It's amazing, and it's funny
watch that tonight.
He softened. This guy had a hardened heart, and he changed everything with this guy just by sitting down and talking to him. And they sat in a restaurant, and this is one of the best things I saw in the movie, and it actually made me tear up. Tom Hanks goes, right before they ate, he goes, okay. And the entire restaurant was sitting there, and he goes, okay, before we eat, I would like you to do something. I would like you to imagine every single person that loved you into existence right now. And I want you to give thanks. And so I was like, oh, I never even thought about that. Who loved you into existence? Aside from your parents, your aunts, your uncles, who hooked your parents up so they could start dating? And then they had you. And then they raised you. And then who nurtured you when you're a little kid? Your teachers. All your teachers, they help love you into existence, to bring you up, to teach you the way you think and your morals and your thoughts, and give you inspiration and ideas on the things that you do today. And I was like, wow, that's got to be the most profound thing that I got from that movie was, and I haven't finished it yet. If you get a chance, if you get a chance to watch Mr. Rogers, it's,
Yeah, that was on my list. I want to check that out.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Tom Hanks is amazing. Like,
oh, I love him.
I was watching Tom Hanks, and I was like, I thought I was watching Mr. Rogers. Yeah, but you know, some people say, "Oh, this guy, he's around kids. He's a pedophile." I was like, no way.
Mr. Rogers, no way.
Yeah, no way. He's a saint.
Yeah,
he was raised.
He was a good guy.
Yeah. Yes, he was. He reminds me a lot of my grandmother. My grandmother was a saint, definitely a saint. And just the thought of him saying that, and the whole restaurant went silent because they all listened. They all sat there quietly, and he goes, let's give thanks to all those who loved us into existence. And the whole restaurant went silent as they all sat there, and I was like, I was on the airplane.
I bet Fred Rogers would be very pleased that Tom Hanks played him.
Oh,
Tom Hanks is good.
Spitting image. But, he didn't try this.
He tried someone's home mix?
I took this last night, and this stuff is magic.
Dude, you want to talk about...
$45? You could get this $45. You can find it online. You don't want to get the old ones because if you take a gander, see that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and... I like the fruit punch. It doesn't have a little sugar, yeah. If you take too much, could it make you jump dimensions? Yes. And what else?
You get lockdown brain.
No, if you don't go to sleep when you're supposed to, you also see things because it literally, I close my eyes, I open my eyes, and there's a person standing there, and then in 2 seconds they're gone. And I'm like, what? Where'd that person go? Who was that? How did they get in? How did they get around me?
Have you seen some of the stuff that Greg's putting up? Some of his videos, Greg Nelson.
Funny, Greg.
Did you see him attack his chair? Did you see that one?
I usually watch every video he puts out because I watch him every day.
But he'll put up like affirmations and things like that, motivational things.
He's growing a full-blown...
I know. He's going savage. I'm like, oh, no, we got to let Greg out of the house, man.
Well, you know what? He's...
Did you see what he did to his chair?
No, but he's going close to crazy right now. And what I'm going to do is I'd like to have him on to talk. And what I'll do is I'll dye this black.
Yeah, look like Greg.
We look just like each other.
Greg's back to like old Greg again. It's like, uh-oh, he's scary again.
That's right. That's right.
It's hilarious though, but he's funny as hell because you see his chair sitting in the doorway of his little training room he's got in his house.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there, and it's like, what's going on? And Greg comes flying through the doorway and dives and tackles his chair and starts wrestling with it.
I haven't seen it. I've got to find out.
You got to go look at that on his Facebook page. I laughed for a half hour at that. I'm like, Greg's going full on bonkers.
Well,
he made his own grappling dummies.
Yeah, he's creative. It's so funny.
He never stops training.
People are all making their own grappling dummies, and they're using wetsuits. And it's so funny. This guy's like, "Don't buy them; those are too expensive. Make them."
Yeah. Well, I just Brian Yamasaki made one the other day. He made one. I don't know. It looked pretty good though. It looked like a full-on, many stuffed it with stuff, and it was like, oh wow. But yeah, Greg's been beating the snot out of his. It's hilarious. I'm crying watching his videos because he does like all kinds of training stuff, and they're doing Zoom classes and doing all that stuff. And Greg's constantly moving. He's doing a lot of Carenza. He'll go out in his driveway and do Carenza. But then the chair tackling one thing, and then Greg had a full on goatee. I'm like, holy crap! What happened to Greg? I'm scared.
Yeah, the monster's back.
Oh man, that was the Greg that was knocking everybody out years ago.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta.
He's hilarious.
You gotta tame that character, and then once in a while, maybe bring him back out, take him for a spin.
Haven't seen that guy in a while. It's like, oh shit. No, it's great though. He's got little wink about it, but it's hilarious. You got to see him. What's that? Mind Tech. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It's new and it's nootropic.
I swear you should have a conversation with Joe Rogan. I think that would be so funny.
He's too smart. He's too smart for me.
Oh, Joe's great. I mean, I don't know him, but I like his podcast.
He is too smart. He knows too much about stuff. I couldn't really hold a candle to his conversation. I mean, we could talk about stuff, but he'd probably go so deep, I would just like sit there with my mouth open.
Oh, he's best buddies with Eddie Bravo. They talk about stuff all the time.
And guess what? I could get permagrin also.
Yeah, no, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
So
he's not sponsored by these guys.
I'm not sponsored by this stuff. I wanted to take something that would kind of like, when you have those aha moments, coffee just doesn't do it. I would either get inspired by a cup of coffee or a couple glasses of red wine, and it would make me right. It would open my brain, just boop, attached to the string theory around, which is cosmic consciousness. It would allow that, but the coffee's not doing it. So I'm like,
I got another book for you, another recommendation.
I'm like, what's close to speed that would open my mind and keep me completely focused the whole time without crashing.
Yeah.
And one.
Genius Consciousness Supplements.
That's definitely two.
Alpha Brain. I've heard a lot of people talk about Alpha Brain.
And that's number 3.
All right.
And what happens if you have a little bit of a residual hangover from this? High-tech pharmaceuticals based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So if you got a little
disclaimer,
hangover,
we're not giving medical advice.
This makes you feel like $1 million. It opens you up, and it just like, because somebody said, yeah, if you have a hangover from the somatomics, maybe you should stop. I go, no, maybe I should have some coffee.
That's coffee for me.
Or a drink that has high levels of caffeine and some other things in it that actually open your brain. It's a nootropic. Do you know what a nootropic is?
I've heard that word thrown around a lot. I don't know what it is.
Nootropic is something that a lot of the guys that are up in Northern California, they are huge into nootropics, because nootropics open your brain and keep you focused, but they think that it opens a compartment of your brain that allows you to be creative and to study, and also to continue to go for long hours. So sustainable energy.
Yeah, Adderall.
Well, Adderall they're using as cocaine. They're snorting it.
Do you see that movie Limitless with Bradley Cooper?
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of like the Adderall movie.
But that was something different. That was like a nootropic that actually like poof.
That was a neat movie.
That had negative side effects.
Well, he ended up. Spoiler. They kind of sold out a little bit at the end with it. He engineered it, but as a video guy, I love movies, and I love like when you see a new trick. They did a cool thing in that with the this zoom effect they were doing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like he would take the stuff and then he would like it kept seeing down the street. It was like the endless zoom. I don't know how they did that. That was a neat effect.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, they showed how his brain was opening up.
And the color was different. The color palette was different.
Tapping into cosmic consciousness, which is the string theory. It's all around you. Sacred geometry, knowledge and information and ideas. And also it helps you remote view, so you see things that maybe you shouldn't see or that normally you wouldn't see.
You're talking about writing. I have another book, Stephen King's book on writing. It's called On Writing.
Oh,
Stephen King. It's his process.
Oh, really?
All right. You know how Stephen King writes so much?
Yes.
He just writes so much. He literally has, it's a habit. It's his work ethic. He just writes every day. He tries to get through 6 pages a day. And if he does that over time, he keeps banging these books out. He literally has a routine.
What's his name? Just kidding.
That's another good book. It's a good one. Stephen King, On Writing. Another worthwhile read. You know, he threw Carrie away, the manuscript for that. The first draft of Carrie, he threw it in the trash.
Why?
And his wife took it out of the trash and submitted it, and it got published.
It's I never knew that. I never heard that before.
Yeah. He didn't think it was good enough. He tells all the background on it.
That's crazy. I can't believe that he threw that out because it was such a famous.
Time to Write. Cool. Who's that? Who wrote that? Frank Milligan? I don't know that one.
Yeah, he's part of the Buble Society.
That's cool.
The Bibliothèque.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good. Probably gives you ideas on how to write. And here's another one. This is Tanya's book, but it looked really good.
Okay. Short Guide to a Long Life.
To a Long Life.
All right.
If you're planning on living long, I mean, some of you guys want to check out early.
No way.
Don't read that book. I just want to say a lot of people don't know you've created a contract before you come to Earth on what you're supposed to do. So, breach of contract would be for you to check out early and not fulfill your contract or your ideals that you agreed upon. You got a lot of people around you that are always assisting you, which sometimes you don't see, but they're the people that were assigned to you before you came into Earth as a human being. And these people are always nudging you and trying to give you nudges and prompts to get you to do what you agreed to do.
I like stuff like that. You believe in signs?
Oh, of course. I believe in gravity. We
have, like Janet's dad passed away in December 28th. And so our little thing, like to remember him, is cardinals. You see cardinals all the time. It was my dad, it's 11-11s.
I see 11-11 all the time. Like every day, like last night, this is how I knew I was chomping at the bit, because all of a sudden I left the couch and all of a sudden I went into bed and turned the TV on. I was on my phone and I was doing a million things, reading a book. I had 2 books that I was looking at, watching a video, and then watching TV. That's how you know you have ADD. ADHD is when you can just look at a million things and be content.
You're like the guy in front of the Matrix.
I wasn't confused whatsoever. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And not only that, I don't have anyone yelling at me, hey, go to bed. So I look at the clock, it's 11:11. I'm reading, I'm looking, I'm watching TV, I'm looking at my phone, I'm reading. All of a sudden, it's 1:11.
Nice. I'm getting the 11s all over the place.
Then I look again, it's 2:22, and I looked again, and it was 3:41. And I was like, you know what? How much information is too much? I wonder if I should be trying to get more information, or if I should just go to beddy by.
Go to sleep, reset your brain.
But it's
you got to
cool.
say it like my dad said it. You got to say 11-11.
11.
He used to say 7-11 for 7-Eleven. You get 7-Eleven.
Oh, he's got the Baltimore accent.
Yeah, he was actually from Brunswick, Maryland. He was from the mountains, from a railroad town.
That's why he talked like that?
7-Eleven. Yeah, Maryland has a very unique accent.
That's what I was told. Also, what's that place in Northern California? They have their accents a lot different. It's
I don't know.
Oakland.
Never been.
Yeah, Oakland. People from Oakland have a unique accent also.
But is that like an inside joke? Are the Oakland people going to be offended by that?
No. They should be enamored that I just gave a shout out.
The Baltimore people definitely know. They know they have a funny accent.
It's not like it's kind of East Coast, but not really, right?
Oh, you know when you're talking to a Baltimore person.
Really?
Oh yeah. Okay, hon.
That's weird.
That's a real thing. You ever watch The Wire?
No.
You know, it's funny because some of the lead characters are actually Brits. They're British people, like Stringer Bell and McNulty. Those guys, they're British people. Good actors because they pulled it off. But there's a whole bunch of real Baltimore actors in there. And us Maryland.
They're called The Wire. The Wire.
The Wire.
Oh.
HBO. They're 5 seasons. If
the
you want
to hold on. The Wire or The Wire?
WIRE. Yeah, The Wire.
Wire.
Yeah, The Wire. Yeah, The Wire. Check it out, man. There's 5 seasons. If you want to binge on something,
really?
every season has a little bit different.
What's it about?
It's about the cops in Baltimore, the game they're playing. You know, going after drug dealers and stuff and crime in Baltimore.
I think I've seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
Episodes.
It's so good. Each season has a kind of a theme to it.
Is it like CSI, kind of?
No, not really. No,
that's what I thought.
No, it's really good. It's really good. And then sometimes they cross the line and stuff like that. But really good writing, good series. Wow. If you want to binge on something.
Wire.
The Wire.
So here's the deal. I have a local thrift store. And I go there and they have CDs on sale for $1. And then they have all these.
Siri just looked up The Wire.
Oh, really?
Shut up, Siri.
Don't tell her to shut up. She'll rat you out.
She does. They see what I mean? This thing's listening. Here's my conspiracy theory moment. This thing's listening.
That she is in bed with the CIA. So anyway, I got this book. at this thrift store. I always look at all their old books because there's always something really good. And The Magic of Believing. And it's so interesting because it's 1948.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's got like, it's so interesting because a lot of the stuff, they were ahead of their time. So it's not like old thinking. Like a lot of people, it's old thinking. It's like, no. But
keep going for 1 second.
Look up this book from Claude Bristol. It's called The Magic of Believing. Hopefully it's not a book on witchcraft that I don't know about. Can you imagine? Eric's telling everyone about this book, and it's all about spells. No, it's not. It's about you believing, having faith. That's pretty interesting. Here's another thing: when you go out and you try to find old books, old Bibles, sometimes you find old money stashed in old Bibles. So you'll find old dollar bills or 5s or 2s or 5s or 10s or 20s or 100s. But the silver certificate, the ones with the blue or the red, you'll find those sometimes hidden in old books. So don't just look at the books for the monetary aspect, but the knowledge and the stuff that you will not get today, you could find sometimes by searching out old books. And then again, in searching out old books and you open it up, boom, it might have an old dollar bill as a bookmarker. And that happens a lot. People find these silver certificates in old books. And a lot of people, when they get rid of their old books, they don't look at, it's like when you got a pocket full of change and you don't clear your pockets and you throw it in the washing machine. And then all of a sudden your wife's washing your pants and she becomes partially rich because she just emptied out a pocket full of gold mixed with organites and silver nuggets. And you're like, oh, I forgot. She's like, finders keepers. Man, you got to check your pockets.
Oh, speaking of finders keepers, the copper in the microwave. You want to bet?
So yeah,
I just learned something.
If you have a microwave, that is completely done, rip it apart, and there is so much copper in there. There's like a pound of copper and 2 huge magnets. I'm going to use those magnets. I'm going to go fishing. You just tie a little string on it. You whip it in the water.
What's that do?
You pull out things out of the water. Sometimes coins.
Oh,
sometimes old.
You're fishing for treasure, not fish.
Yeah, with a magnet.
I'm like, what's that? What's the magnet do with a fish?
Well, it feeds it for a long time.
Oh,
Spins its equilibrium.
It's attracted to metal.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of times in the base of creeks, you might pull up gold. You can pull up gold, but I don't think most gold. I don't think it's. I don't think you could pick it up with a magnet, right?
Is gold ferrous? Is it
I don't think
magnetic?
So. I don't think so. I don't think copper is either. Is it?
I don't know. I should know that. I used to make knives.
You should know that.
I know aluminum's is not magnetic at all.
No, but it gets in your bloodstream, and it's highly toxic.
Oh, I had that. I had that for a long time.
So you take zeolites?
Nah, I tested
bentonite clay.
I just stopped working with it.
Yeah, but you got to get it out of your system.
I get blood tests. I don't have it in me anymore. It probably already did the damage.
Well, a lot of times when you ingest a lot of pills from the hospital, you get metal. You get a lot of metal in your system. It's in some of these pills. So I did this bentonite clay and the zeolites. I took these, and it stripped all the heavy metal out of my system. And so I found suddenly I was like, I stopped listening to Metallica, and I stopped.
Oh, I love Metallica. Why'd you stop listening to Metallica?
Because this stuff that I was taking, it removed all heavy metals out of my system. So it took out Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Metallica, and next thing you know, it replaced it with Tim McGraw and
Paul Oates.
Yeah, it removed all the heavy metals from my system. Next thing you know, to country western.
Dude, did you see the heavy metal remix of the billionaire preacher guy who went to blow away the virus?
Oh, really?
Did you see that guy?
No, but
this is like the best thing about the internet, when somebody gets a hold of something funny and like does a funny edit on it. This dude was doing all this crazy preaching stuff. What is that?
Look at the soft arms, man. You see these brolic arms, man. Back up off me, man. You know what it is.
Don't put that
up in there to look like he can play in the NFL or any given team on any given Sunday. Me. You see, I'm the only one that can play with this robe and look brolic while doing it. Get your soft body the hell up out of here, man. I said what I said. You heard back up. See, I'm the one that can stiffen his teeth while simultaneously bathing with his own homemade organic botanical soaps. And then I go lay out in the sun dramatically for the organic draw. You see, I'm the one that told your ass to stay off these ropes. Oh, get more formidable than I thought. See, I'm the one that's going to be the bigger man and retreat, and I'm going to just stand here and reflect and plot my revenge. Me. See, I'm the only songwriting silverback. You down, you came to see. I wrote that song. Tony Baker ain't write nothing. He knew it.
Send me that one. That one's great. Now the preacher one's hilarious. The guy
Anton Rigg.
That's like my favorite. Oh, I saw one the other day. I was like in a bad mood, and there's nothing but a panda sitting there eating bamboo. You'd be surprising how soothing that is.
Hold on. I sent that out. It's 4 minutes of a panda.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
That was so great. I watched it over and over and over.
Because somebody sent me where the name of the coronavirus came from, and then I sent them where the name of a pandemic came from, and he goes, where? And I go, it's from a panda eating bamboo.
That was so great. I just kept sitting there and watching it. That was so great. The thing's just like munching away.
Chomping on that bamboo.
He's like tearing it up. So before we're running a little long, before we kind of wrap up for the day on our lockdown cast.
Bob, what have you been doing with downloads and things like that?
Well, we just released CSW Essentials, which has never been available on a download.
Download the Essentials. Those DVDs,
very good videos,
created are so much information that were way ahead of their time, which is still really great for MMA.
Oh, totally good. Still clinching, very good.
Volley-tudo guard passing, clinching, takedowns off the punch, submissions, and what else?
Yep. The plum.
Pummeling.
Yeah, they're very good. So those are available now. They're already part of the online university, and they're available on DVD, but they've never been available to download them.
Download them in your collection. You can keep watching and sharing, and there's some funny things on there too.
So we got Best Defense is coming.
Best Defense.
Yep.
Yeah, let me say something about the Best Defense series. I created that originally for the coaches, for all the coaches. That was my coaches' curriculum that they share with their students, that they made it a curriculum for their students. And this guy goes, hey, what do you have that you could share with the public that would help everybody? I go, the Best Defense. And I also had something I wrote out. It was called the King of the Cheap Shots. And it was a list of all these ways to throw a right overhand and clock somebody when they weren't looking.
We also have competition cross training.
Oh, that one's really good. I shot that with Cub Swanson and this other guy from North Carolina who's a fighter that came out to train. This guy was a catch wrestler. And those two are both in the video. It's really good.
Yeah, we're kind of like filling out the catalog on just, filling in the gaps of stuff that was never released this way. And then the last one is game development. I'm going to put that one out.
Game development. And then hold on, there's something else. What's that other one that has gymnastics?
Well, combat athletics is new.
Combat athletics.
That's new. And we're going to do, we're still, in the editing process on that. But I think how we're going to do this one, it's going to be a series. And the first thing in the series is gymnastics focused. And that's where, Erik did a bunch of routines with Sam on, what a gymnast does to get in shape, which is very relevant for MMA.
Relative and relevant, but also not addressed by. There's only one other person that I know that that was fighting that actually did something very similar to what I was doing, and that was George St. Pierre. Started incorporating gymnastics into his MMA training. But since Greg Nelson and I were gymnasts at the same time in different schools competing against each other, it just is natural for me to find. I found this great gymnastics coach that was local, and I said, hey, is it possible that we could do a video series on the gymnastics conditioning that most people will never see, what a gymnast has to go through to get strong on every piece of equipment. So you got the pommel horse, the rings, the parallel bar, the high bar, the floor, the trampoline, and then also the wall ladder. And we shot video, conditioning video and all that. We also included pull-ups, all different types of pull-ups, all different types of push-ups, all different types of dips, and also all different types of rope climbs, how to climb the rope, which if you're running a grappling school, which you all are, you should have a rope in your school. And if you don't, you better get one. And I'm talking about hanging it. Don't just put it around a pole and do the whips, which is great, and the alternates, and then the opens and closes, and then the sides to sides, and then the punching over the head. That's the whole set. No,
Yes.
no, it really is.
Sam went right up that thing.
Yeah, but the one you climb, there's all different ways to do it. And Sam,
He doesn't even need to use his feet. He can just.
he could hold an L seat and do climbs. With
That's Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee did that. Enter the Dragon.
Bruce Lee's cousin.
Bruce Lee had the knots in the rope. Do you think that helped him?
You don't need
that. That was a little thin rope, though. Did you see Bruce Lee hold? He just held his feet straight out and went up that rope.
He was exceptionally strong. He was like a gymnast.
That was insane.
He had total.
How strong was he? He was like super strong, right?
Yeah, look at the exercises that you hurt your back with. Where he was on a bench and he lifted his leg and bowed backwards.
The flag, right? He lift his whole body up.
Yeah, but from the bench.
Yeah, that's picture him with his shoulders touching.
Tell everybody when you did that and you hurt your back.
I did. I was 14. I chipped 3 vertebrae in my back, ground them down, doing leg raises wrong. I wanted to be Bruce Lee.
In Dockers.
Hey, throwback. That's right. Anytown Throwdown. Too bad that show didn't get made.
It did, but not with me.
No, controversy. We'll let people figure that one out.
It got made twice.
That's right. It got made,
but not with me.
What was the second go round?
So Anytime Throwdown was remade on MTV.
I know about Bully Beatdown.
No, it was made originally by Tito Ortiz, and they didn't even change the name.
What'd Tito do?
He was the host. He had my spot.
I never saw that one.
Yeah. Here, listen, it was so lackluster that they took it back and they rebranded it, and it's the same idea. It was my idea with John Spezzano and his wife. It was their idea. I was the host. We shot the video to bid it to MTV and all these Spike TV. Is Spike TV still around?
I don't even know. I don't think so.
Isn't that weird? Guys, you all know if Spike TV for men is still around. I think about that. I mean, it's like, where did that suddenly go? Spike TV used to have all the fights.
I know. Ultimate Fighter was on that channel.
That's weird. Okay. Anyway, so what do? We what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about. I didn't know Tito did a version of.
Oh yeah.
Anytown Throwdown. They're back with so much. Hey, Suzanne Spezzano. How many Emmys has she won with Ellen? She works on the Ellen show.
Yeah, and she shot a really great C-Lot video.
Yeah, it's really good.
Lindo C-Lot. It's really good. It's a ton of exercises and stuff.
I like her video.
Yeah, Bob loves her video.
Yeah, it's really good.
You guys get a chance. Susan Spezzano.
Yeah.
Suzanne
Spezzano. And
it's a Lindo C-Lot video or DVD. Look her up. You can look it up on YouTube probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's on Inasano.com. They sell it.
It's on Inasano.com. If you would like to get it, it's really good. So anyway, so we're talking about what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about
Anytime Throwdown. Tito Ortiz got a show, and then so they rebranded it, and they got a younger guy that was a little feisty.
That's Mayhem, right?
That was Jason Miller. They brought on Jason Miller, and they called it Bully Beatdown. And so
I thought that was a good show. I liked it.
Yeah, it was. And it's funny because I had this guy come into my school, and he goes, "I have a blue belt under Jerry Loretta." I used to train with Jerry in Mark Lyon's garage. He goes, "I'm a blue belt under Jerry Loretta. I wrestle at Cal State Fullerton. I want to do your fight practice. Here's $180 for a month." And he just threw down money, and I was like,
"Can't get into fight practice like that."
And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "You want to do my fight practice?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "So you want to fight?" He goes, "Yeah." So this guy comes in, and he starts sparring, and he kicked really hard, but his accuracy was a little off. So he started kicking the heavy bag, and throughout this period, this guy, I walked into my gym 3 times, and this guy was laying on the floor knocked out. he was completely knocked out and his body was stiff. The first one was he kicked Jay right in the butt as hard as he could. And Jay
he kicked Jay Martinez?
And Jay kicked him right in the neck. And I was like, Jay Martinez, first of all, you would have to be laying on your back to get kicked in the neck by Jay Martinez. And Jay Martinez just swung his leg up and just went flop, and he dropped, and he was out cold.
You don't want to call out Jay Martinez.
I couldn't believe it. And then another time in class, he kicked somebody in the ass really hard. And I was like, hey, kick the leg and lighten your shots up. Quit kicking everyone in the butt. And then all of a sudden the guy just laid him out. And then the third was he was hitting the heavy bag and he slipped and he fell. And I walked in and I go, hey, what's up with that guy? And I go, oh, he was hitting the bag hard. He slipped and fell. And I go, did anyone check on him? Anyway, so guess what?
What?
His 1 month was up, and guess what he did?
What did he do?
He goes, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm done with my training. He goes, I think I'm ready. And I go, ready? Ready for what? And he goes, for my show. And I go, what show? And he goes, Bully Beatdown. I'm the bully.
I'm the bully?
What?
He was the bad guy?
Yeah, I was the bad guy.
Great.
The
bad guy came to train at CSW?
Yeah, I had no idea. How would I even know that?
Oh, no.
He got beat up from the feet up.
Oh, no. That sucks. Yeah,
I think he had to fight Tony Bonello, and Tony Bonello beat him up.
That's when you really get to see, you might train stuff, but then getting in with a pro fighter is a whole different thing. Yeah. It's like, okay, I get it. You're good, and you're good in class and all, but these guys, they're professional fighters. They do this every day.
A lot of these guys, they deserve to get their ass kicked, but because what they do is they do not abide by the human conduct code when they're out in public. And since they're ballsy and loudmouthy and kind of tough, but they don't know anything.
Yeah.
So they beat up on their friends and the weaker. Instead of being a sheepdog and looking after the lambs and the sheep, they're beating them up.
Yeah,
and so those guys need to be beat up. And that's why Bully Beatdown, which was Anytown Throwdown.
Yeah.
It's two guys that had a beef with each other, no matter how big or small. And we'd throw their name into a hat. They'd get a week of martial arts training with the master. And then we'd set them loose on each other, and they had to fight.
That's a little bit different because you got the guy getting picked on or the two guys with a beef.
Yeah.
What they turned it into was
bully.
The bully fighting a pro.
Beating up the bully. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was that was cool. But so switching gears a little bit, the last thing, just a reminder to our affiliates. We extended the 30-day free access to the online university for their students.
Thank you, Bob.
For another 30 days.
So you have access to 4,000 videos for another 30 days. So hopefully you'll get through all of them.
Yeah, do your homework and don't eat too much while you're locked down, because I already did and put a bunch of weight on. I got to get back on my diet. I'm so fat right now.
Oh, you're so fat, Bob.
I am.
PHAT.
Oh, my God. I did a whole bunch of footwork the other day. My buddy Steve did a Zoom class. We were doing like CLAT footwork and stuff. And I was like, what happened? I fell apart in a month. I was training twice a day. I was in really good shape. And I'm like,
listen,
all I did was stress, eat, and fell apart in a month.
I have to say something, and you should know this. You can never over sharpen your blade.
Oh, man.
It's good to do this. It's not good to do this and then this, but it's good to go like this.
Yeah, peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys. Why? Because it keeps lighting a fire in your ass. And it's the people that are consistent are the ones that get better. It's not the people that run to the top of the hill as fast as they can and then they walk down the other side. It's a girl or guy that is staying consistent on this line here. And and the other thing I said that I told Guru Dan, is that people need to understand that life is seasonal, and what you do in your life is seasonal. Sometimes it's a season to harvest and thrive, and sometimes it's a time to stick your nose to the grindstone. Sometimes it's a season to study. Sometimes it's a season to write. Sometimes it's a season to sit back and rest on your laurels. But all that together is what keeps you constant, and it's a little diversity in what you're doing. So that's important that you guys think about that everything is based on seasons. And a season doesn't have to be 3 months or 2 months or a month. It could be weekly or bi-weekly or tri-weekly, or it could be every month or every 2 months, bi-monthly. It could be every 3 months. What do you call every 3 months? Tri-monthly. Right? I mean, if you break it up, but that's important.
It would be quarterly, right?
Quarterly. If you look, I'm just trying to, so you guys know, but what I'm trying to do is, tell you that when you live in a place where it's hot all the time, it sucks because you got all this cool clothes, you got cool shoes, you got cool jackets, and you can never even wear your cool stuff because it's always the same. When you wake up and you look outside and it's sunny every day, that does get old. It would be nice to have a little bit of cloud cover and some rainfall. That's important. Would it be nice to enjoy the snow a little bit? 100%. Can you imagine going up in the mountains and rolling around in the snow or ski, or and then 2 hours later be down at the beach on the sand and going in the ocean?
No.
Yeah, that's why seasons are important for the soul.
Where you have that in California, you can go up in the mountains and then go to a beach.
100%. I could go to Big Bear. I could go and find snow up in Big Bear, and I could go to the beach in 2 hours, an hour and a half. Be at the beach.
Didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Which reminds me of the song I once wrote.
Oh no!
It goes like this.
We're gonna end on this.
So anyways, all right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you listening to all the nonsense.
Okay, this was our goof around podcast. Because we're all going crazy. We're all locked up. But I think then we're going to try to get Greg back on again and maybe reach out to some more affiliates. We've been busy with Erik taking Somatomex and trying to get a bunch more videos and stuff ready for you guys. So another round coming, and make sure you guys do your Zoom setups. I did another one in my gym behind that wall with using a Mac Mini and 2 monitors. I'm going to do a little setup tour on that one. But some of you guys are putting together really cool Zoom setups for remote workouts, and maybe we'll see about. I know we've been talking about Coach Erik maybe doing some webinars in the near future as well. So.
But what about all the MMA videos that I just shot?
That's right.
Hey, how about all the MMA videos we just?
Oh, I have like 9,000 hours of extra training stuff that you shot, in addition to your entire seminar archive.
Hopefully, Bob won't get bored with all that stuff because
that doesn't exist.
There are hours and hours of.
I got 10 years of footage to cut.
I shot so much MMA stuff just recently with the guys and had them demo. It's really good. And it's on all different aspects of MMA.
Yeah, tons of stuff. So
a lot of it's the clinch, how to counter the clinch, how to get into a takedown, kick catches, stand-ups, leg defense when you're on your back. What else?
Oh my God. The list, the last batch of the previous round is uploading now. I had to create a different library for it. In addition to the other libraries I already have for you, it's that much stuff. I don't know how many hours it is, but it's a lot. So
what I'm saying is I have been active shooting a ton of stuff, and Bob has been overactive editing and putting things together for all of you guys. And Bob, should get a Nobel Peace Prize for this, and possible Academy Award of directing and producing.
I'll just take some Death Wish coffee.
Death Wish coffee. Be careful, because it could form a death wish on you, and you don't want that.
Nah, I don't have a death wish. I just like coffee. Strong
You have
coffee.
to fulfill your contract that you agreed upon before you came here.
I have life wish.
Life wish coffee.
That's
Ooh.
right. Ooh, idea. Somebody just bought it just now. Awesome. All right, brother. Love you, man.
All right. Love you too. I will talk to you guys shortly. God bless all of you.